The story begins with a second-year high school student named Kurosei Tsunagu, who anxiously scrolls through the comments on his video. He's passionate about desktop music production, but his subscriber count is so low that even his family restaurant's daily specials have more fans. His face falls as he reads the negative feedback. However, his expression quickly shifts to one of delight when he notices a comment from a user who praises his song and mentions listening to it daily. Feeling a rare sense of encouragement, he plugs in his earphones and begins listening to the songs of his favorite singer, Icy, a YouTuber with over 50,000 subscribers. Immersed in her music, he makes his way to school, completely absorbed in the melody. Lost in thought, he bounces off Saya, his classmate, like a rubber ball hitting a wall of pure ego. Saya, whose hobby is playing the guitar and who boasts a considerable following of 30,000 subscribers, reacts with annoyance. He shoves Kurosei aside with an air of irritation before walking away without another word. Kurosei then overhears Sia and Nin discussing her song, which has impressively garnered 50,000 views, boosting her subscriber count to 100,000. Saya casually mentions that he was the one who wrote the lyrics for her song, while she confidently states that she, too, plans to make a remarkable impact at the upcoming school festival. Kurosei, standing nearby, listens quietly, merely an observer of their conversation. As the noise of his extroverted classmates fills the room, he sits at his desk, feeling the stark contrast between himself and the lively atmosphere around him. The teacher soon enters and announces the need for one male and one female student to handle documentation for the festival. She asks the class if anyone is interested in volunteering. A classmate suggests Hinamori-san, Kurosei's deskmate, as a suitable candidate. Saya then calls out that Kurosei would make a great partner for her. Kurosei, upon hearing his name being called, sighs internally. His soul leaves his body for a brief vacation before reluctantly returning to accept his fate. The teacher agrees with Sia's suggestion, and both Kurosei and Hinamori comply without resistance. Deep inside, he harbors resentment toward extroverts like Saya, who always seem to dominate and make life difficult for introverts like himself. He reflects on his own standing, both online and in real life, feeling as though he is perpetually at the bottom. A sudden camera shutter sound catches his attention. He turns to see Hinamori holding a camera goes crazy, snapping pictures like a nosy squirrel who just discovered a stash of stolen acorns. He quickly fixes the issue, surprising her. She thanks him with wide-eyed admiration, calling him amazing. The unexpected compliment leaves him slightly pleased. At that moment, his childhood friend, Tamura Tetsu, calls out to him from the window. Tetsu, a member of the broadcasting club from the neighboring class, enthusiastically tells Kurosei that the background music he provided sounded great. He admits his lack of musical knowledge and asks for Kurosei's help. He jokingly tells him to make the request while pretending to cry, explaining that the broadcasting club is responsible for the auditorium's equipment during the festival. His dramatically acting is so Oscar-worthy, even the classroom goldfish pauses to appreciate him. Kurosei agrees to help, and when he mentions that all the songs he provided were his own compositions, Tetsu is astonished. He exclaims at Kurosei's dedication, but he clarifies that the songs are instrumental and require significant effort to prepare for the festival. As their conversation continues, Kurosei notices Hinamori snapping pictures of him. A whisper reaches his ears, suggesting that Kurosei is a musician. Feeling drained, he returns home to his family's restaurant, where his mother, Kine, and younger sister, Yuzuki, warmly welcome him. Yuzuki, a first-year high school student with 200,000 WeTube subscribers, is passionate about dancing. Their mother thanks them for their help at the restaurant. Yuzuki excitedly asks Kurosei if he plans to perform on stage at the festival, suggesting he play the guitar. Their mother chimes in, affirming that he should. However, he immediately dismisses the idea, telling his sister that she has sweet sauce on her bangs. Yuzuki panics and vanishes at light speed, as if her entire reputation depends on perfectly clean hair. Their mother reminds Tsunagu that he should go to his room and practice his DDR, but he corrects her, stating that it is actually called DTM, desktop music. He recalls that he started this process years ago. In 4th grade, he composed his first piece, which his father, a rock band member and guitar instructor, had encouraged. From that moment on, Kurosei dedicated himself to improving his craft. He remembers a significant moment from his first year of high school when Amano attended the recital where Kurosei was to present his guitar piece. However, moments before his performance, he received the devastating news of his father's death in a traffic accident, rumored to have been caused by one of his father's band members. That day was meant to be his breakthrough moment, but it was forever lost. In the present, Kurosei and Hinamori take pictures for the festival documentation. When he suggests that they should also take pictures of the auditorium, he feels relieved that their limited conversation makes the task easier. Arriving at the auditorium, they witness a performance announcement, but Kurosei is stunned to realize that the audience is listening to one of his compositions. Overwhelmed with happiness, he reassures himself that his songs are worth listening to. He continues taking pictures when he finds his sister's hairpin in his pocket. Finding it inconvenient, he hands it to Hinamori before running off to see if anyone else is listening to his music. On the other side of the stage, Tetsu is in a panic, yelling because Amano and Momochi from Class A have not arrived yet. Seeing Kurosei, Tetsu explains the situation, worried about the delayed performance. Kurosei suggests playing one of his instrumental songs as an alternative, thinking that if it's danceable, it can temporarily hold the audience's attention. Tetsu excitedly agrees and prepares to play Kurosei's song at full volume. Just as the announcement declares a delay in the scheduled performance, Yuzuki, sitting with their mother, curiously watches. The song begins, and the audience enjoys it, until distorted and unpleasant vocals suddenly blare from the speakers. Confused and dismayed, people start murmuring, wondering what has gone wrong. Kurosei, realizing in horror that his temporary recording has been mistakenly played. His expression shifts from mildly worried to someone just set his entire career on fire. The correct song is played, but the audience remains skeptical. Kurosei, humiliated, crouches down, burying his head in his arms. He recalls the harsh comments on his channel, thinking that perhaps they were right, that he is nothing more than a failure. At that moment, a girl approaches him and firmly tells him to stand up, encouraging him to be proud of his work. He looks up, watching in shock as she steps onto the stage. As she begins to sing, Kurosei is astonished. It is Icy, performing to his composition. The audience is captivated by her powerful voice. He watches in disbelief, wondering why the singer he admires is performing his song. His gaze falls on the hairpin, realizing the truth. Icy is actually his classmate, Hinamori. Seeing this, his brain does the mental equivalent of a Windows error message before forcefully rebooting. As he watches her confident stage presence, he is struck by how different she seems from the quiet and unnoticed girl he sits beside in class. Just then, Amano and his partner finally arrive, shocked to find someone else performing in their slot. Seizing the moment, Kurosei grabs a guitar and joins Hinamori on stage. Inspired by her confidence, he finds himself playing without hesitation. Together, they create an electrifying performance, thrilling the audience. His mother and sister watch with pride, Yuzuki excitedly recording the event. As the performance reaches its climax, Kurosei feels an exhilarating sense of fulfillment. The crowd erupts in applause, and the cheers are unending. Later, he checks his phone to find that Yuzuki's live stream of their performance has skyrocketed in views, garnering praise and admiration. Lost in excitement, he accidentally trips over a wire and collides with Hinamori. For him in this situation, if embarrassment were an Olympic sport, he'd have just secured the gold medal. At that moment, he finally realizes the truth. His quiet, gloomy classmate is the talented singer he has admired all along. Looking at her, he thinks to himself that this goddess who has entered his dull musical life is about to bring a revolution. Their performance video quickly reaches 1 million views on YouTube, marking the beginning of an incredible new chapter for both of them. Kurosei lies on the ground, dazed, with Hinamori bending knees over him, trying to convey something. She tells him that she is none other than the singer named Icy. In a sudden rush of excitement, he shouts only to realize that he is still in class, where the teacher glares at him like he just confessed to a crime and sternly tells him to pull himself together since the cultural festival is over. Sitting back down, Kurosei feels the weight of embarrassment settling in, but his thoughts immediately shift to the girl sitting beside him. Ever since their performance at the festival and their awkward fall, he has not spoken to Hinamori again, despite having many questions for her. His ears catch the sound of his classmates gossiping about the festival performance video, which has reached a staggering 1 million views and is now trending on YouTube. One said that she vanished before he could even ask for her number. The comments and reactions have only amplified the video's hype. Listening to all this, Kurosei reflects that his dream of sharing his music with a vast audience has come true. But he knows this achievement is not his alone. Nearby, his classmates speculate about the unknown vocal girl, discussing how she was not only talented but also incredibly cute. Some of them consider asking Kurosei about her, But before they can, Hinamori discreetly hands him a note instructing him to keep it a secret. When his classmates finally approach him with their questions, he feigns ignorance, claiming he does not know the girl either, since they only performed together at the last minute. He somehow manages to convince them, though he had not expected his classmates to praise him so much. The conversation makes him consider uploading the video to his own account, but he decides to wait until Hinamori sings his songs again. Determined, Kurose writes a request in his notebook for Hinamori to sing his songs once more, but he doubts she will agree. When she reads it, she responds in writing that she hates singing. Without further discussion, she returns to her work, remaining that way until the school day ends. Later, Kurose heads to his family's restaurant, frying chicken while lost in thought. He mentions to his sister that if someone does not like fried chicken, they will never open a restaurant. Likewise, if someone does not like singing, they should not pursue it. But the situation with Hinamori feels odd to him. Someone with her voice and presence should be at the top of the school's hierarchy, yet she chooses to remain hidden. Just then, an order comes in, pulling his attention back to work. To his shock, the person placing the order is none other than Hinamori. His mind freezes as she casually asks if he works part-time there, to which he replies that this is actually his home. She takes her coffee and sits down, giving Kurose the perfect opportunity to convince her to sing again. He momentarily wonders if convincing Hinamori is harder than frying chicken without getting oil on his face. As she removes her glasses, which have become foggy, he walks over and expresses his wish for her to sing his song seriously. At that moment, his sister spots Hinamori without her glasses and immediately recognizes her as the girl from the festival. Excited, she rushes over, gasps as if she just discovered a long-lost celebrity, introduces herself as Kurose's sibling, and compliments Hinamori's performance. Noticing a hairpin on the table, she recognizes it as hers but tells Hinamori that she can keep it. Suddenly, making an excuse, she dashes off to tell their mother that Kurose has brought a girl home, shocking their mother, who finds it hard to believe. Meanwhile, as Hinamori eats, she acknowledges his seriousness but insists that she is not interested. Across the room, his mother and sister continue whispering, suspecting that Kurose may have a one-sided crush and is about to confess. They try to signal to him to do his best, but he is focused on something else entirely. He leads Hinamori to his room, where she expresses her desire to leave. Before she can continue, Kurose interrupts, revealing that he knows she is icy, but he wants to understand why she sang his song and why she hid her identity. Hinamori tells him not to bombard her with questions all at once. Apologizing, he admits that he is a fan of Icy's songs. Deep inside, Hinamori knows she cannot reveal the truth, that her mother does not allow her to pursue music and insists that she focus on her studies. Kurose notices her lost in her thoughts and calls out to her, but she deflects by asking about his room. He explains that the old music equipment belonged to his father. When she asks more about him, he shares that his father was in a band but is no longer with them. Feeling awkward, she apologizes, but he brushes it off, saying that he was just a child back then. Trying to divert the conversation from her own life, Hinamori starts asking Kurose about his daily routine and various other questions. He tells her about the instrumental piece he is currently working on and plays it for her. She finds it fascinating and praises the genre mix. Listening intently, she starts analyzing how he blended the elements and even offers suggestions on how he could improve it. Impressed by her keen musical sense, Kurose is even more convinced that she is an extraordinary talent. As he watches her, he questions himself, wondering why he ever thought someone like her would sing his songs. Perhaps the vocalist could be someone else, but before he can dwell on it, Hinamori surprises him by saying that his songs are great because they have a sense of freedom. He is unsure whether she is praising him or dismissing him. Suddenly, Hinamori accidentally knocks over a juice cup, losing her balance, as she falls and heroically saves Kurose's music equipment, but ends up with juice all over her shirt. He quickly offers to get her a towel and suggests she use the bathroom. She tries to clean her shirt, but the stain does not come off easily. Realizing her inner clothes are wet as well, she takes one of his t-shirts and puts it on. When she steps out of the bathroom, Kurose is lost in thought, adjusting music settings on his computer. She calls out to him and thanks him, but he does not hear her due to his headphones. Taking them off, he eagerly tells her that he has incorporated all her feedback and plays the song again. As Hinamori listens, her eyes widen. He has improved it significantly. Kurose credits her for pointing out the mistakes he would not have noticed on his own. Drawn into the music, Hinamori unconsciously starts singing along, seamlessly blending her vocals with the track. Kurose sits frozen, looking at her like he just witnessed a unicorn do a backflip. Without thinking, he moves closer and expresses his wish to record her voice. She refuses, reminding him that she has already said no. He pleads with her to just sing the chorus once, and after some hesitation she agrees. They record the song together, and Kurose is completely captivated by her voice. Hinamori notices his expression and asks why he is reacting that way. He tells her that he could tell from the festival performance she truly loves singing. She panics and denies it, but he insists that when she sings, she radiates joy. He declares that music never lies. Hearing this, Hinamori momentarily gazes at herself, lost in thought. As he leans in, determined to convince her, the wire from her headphones suddenly pulls loose, causing an unexpected force that makes her fall. Kurose tries to catch her but ends up toppling over her. His inappropriate remark earns him a loud, soul-crushing slap that echoes through the room and his dignity. Later, he hands Hinamori her packed order, and she remarks that she might never come back. Meanwhile, his mother and sister continue gossiping like they just heard the biggest plot twist of the century. Kurose, however, is left with the thought that maybe now he can write even better songs. That night, he uploads the chorus they recorded together, receiving positive comments. Elsewhere, Hinamori sits in deep thought, recalling Kurose's words. Looking at a picture she took of him at school, she realizes that Kurose is someone who truly lights up when it comes to music. Anonymously, she leaves a comment on his video, admitting that she likes his songs. The school day is in full swing, and inside the classroom, the students are animatedly discussing Kurose's latest song. The air is filled with excitement as they chat about its melody and meaning. However, on the other side of the room, a heavy silence lingers between Kurose and Hinamori. Seated at their respective desks, they remain awkwardly quiet, avoiding each other's gaze. Kurose's mind races with thoughts, wondering if Hinamori is upset with him because of what happened the previous day. The possibility unsettles him, but even amidst his worry, he finds himself admiring her appearance. His eyes linger on her as he contemplates her silence. If this continues, how will he ever convince her to sing his new song? The very aura around her seems to radiate tension, making it even harder to approach her. Deep down, he wishes she would listen to the song he uploaded the night before. Before he can think any further, the class begins, offering him a temporary escape from his growing anxiety. He reassures himself that there will be plenty of opportunities to talk to Hinamori later. As time passes, the bell rings, signaling the start of break time. Without a word, Hinamori rises from her seat and heads for the door. Kurose watches her go and immediately calls out to her, but she doesn't acknowledge him. Her deliberate ignorance stings, and he can't shake the feeling that she is intentionally avoiding him. Determined not to let this silence persist, he springs to his feet and rushes after her. Hinamori quickens her pace like she just remembered she left the stove on at home. With a sharp glance over her shoulder, she tells him to stop trailing behind her. But Kurose doesn't give up. He catches up to her and grabs her wrist, urging her to at least listen to what he has to say. She turns abruptly, and in that moment of unsteadiness, they both lose their balance and topple to the floor. Looks like they're reenacting a dramatic movie scene, except way clumsier. Hinamori's eyes widen when she realizes he is still holding her hand. A faint blush creeps onto her cheeks. Kurose quickly apologizes, his voice filled with sincerity. He admits that he feels embarrassed about what happened the previous night and just wants to apologize properly, especially since she seems angry. However, Hinamori calmly tells him that she isn't actually mad, so he can let go of her hand now. Noticing their still joined hands, Kurose immediately releases her grip, fumbling for an explanation. He blurts out that he only grabbed her hand because she was running away. In the midst of his flustered state, he notes her glasses have cracked, and now everything is blurry, including his dignity. Hinamori, however, remains unfazed. She assures him that it's no big deal since school is over for the day, and she can deal with it later. Straightening up, she finally acknowledges him properly and asks which song he wants her to listen to. They both settle down on a nearby bench, and Kurose hands her his phone, playing the song he uploaded the night before. Hinamori listens intently, remaining silent for a long while. Kurose watches her closely, puzzled by how focused she is. He wonders if she's analyzing the song or just waiting for a hidden message from aliens. But before he can ask, she speaks. She tells him that the song makes her feel as if she's deep under the ocean at first, surrounded by vast, unknown depths. Then, as the melody progresses, it carries her up, rising to the ocean's surface. Kurose is momentarily stunned by her interpretation. She continues, expressing how beautiful the song is even without lyrics. The buzzing sound in the background, she explains, makes her feel as if she's submerged underwater, drifting along with the current. Curious, she asks him about the sound's origin. Kurose explains that it was created using a synth. When she asks what that means, he elaborates, describing a synthesizer as an instrument that generates and modifies sounds to produce different audio effects. As he talks, he introduces her to an app that allows users to experiment with these sounds, showing her how it works. Intrigued, Hinamori asks him if he can create the sound of trickling water. Kurose takes the challenge seriously and begins adjusting the settings. After a few careful tweaks, a perfect combination of sounds emerges, a melody that captures the serenity of flowing water. They both listen in awe, pleasantly surprised by how well it fits. Kurose mentions that he still needs to refine the sound and start working on the lyrics. Meanwhile, Hinamori remarks that the new combination has created an immersive deep-sea atmosphere, something she finds incredibly captivating. Kurose feels a surge of happiness at her reaction. If it weren't for her insight, this song wouldn't have come to life the way it did. Curious, Hinamori suddenly asks why he composed this song while thinking about her. Kurose panics. This is dangerously close to sounding like a confession, and he's not emotionally prepared for that level of drama. He tells her that an image of her appeared in his mind last night, and he couldn't believe how much had happened between them in just one day. He confesses that whenever he thinks about her, he loses himself completely. Hinamori's cheeks flush at his words, and she stares at him in shock. She asks what he means by that. He explains that it usually takes him a month to compose a song, but the idea of having her sing it kept appearing in his thoughts, fueling his inspiration. Thoughts of her kept emerging, shaping his songs in unexpected ways. As the realization of his words sinks in, Hinamori remains speechless, her heart pounding. For the first time, he has experienced this feeling unlike anything before. As he processes this unfamiliar sensation, Hinamori tells him that it is her first time feeling this way as well. Her thoughts drift back to the previous day, recalling how much she had enjoyed visiting Kurose's house. There had been an unexpected lightness in her heart, a rare sense of ease she hadn't felt in a long time. She remembers the moment she laid eyes on Kurose's keyboard, how, for the first time, her fingers hadn't trembled when she touched it. The realization lingers in her mind. Was it just a coincidence, or was it because Kurose had been nearby? Before she can dwell on it further, her peaceful moment shatters as a group of boys spot her, pointing like they've just discovered a rare Pokémon. Their voices rise with recognition as they excitedly point in her direction, identifying her as the same beautiful girl who had performed at the festival. A sudden sense of alertness washes over her. Without hesitation, she grabs Kurose's hand and quickly pulls him away. 1 second, Kurose is standing still. The next, he's being yanked like an unsuspecting extra in an action movie chase scene, making a swift escape from the prying eyes. As they run, Kurose's own thoughts are in turmoil. He realizes that this is the first time he has ever held a girl's hand. His brain short-circuits thinking about it. A few moments later, they stop to catch their breath. Without thinking, Kurose speaks his mind, asking why someone as cute as Hinamori insists on hiding herself. The words slip out before he can stop them, and he immediately regrets the question, fearing he may have crossed a line. However, Hinamori's response surprises him. She explains that it is better this way, that she prefers to keep her distance from people, avoiding unnecessary interactions. Before she can continue, Kurose suddenly places a hand over her mouth, silencing her. His voice is low and urgent as he warns her to stay quiet. Someone is approaching. The two of them hurriedly squeeze into a nearby locker, making it the world's most awkward and least spacious hiding spot. Outside, Amano and his friends walk past, engaged in a conversation about the festival performance. Kurose listens in silence as Amano mocks him, his words laced with contempt. Amano scoffs, calling Kurose an eyesore. Ever since his father passed away back in elementary school, he's been nothing but a gloomy downer, always dragging the mood down. It's irritating. And now, on top of that, he even ruined Amano's stage performance. That nerd is getting way too full of himself. Hinamori stiffens, her patience snapping at Amano's cruel words. Unable to remain hidden any longer, she suddenly pushes the locker door open and steps out, her voice sharp with defiance. She declares that, in her eyes, the true loser is someone who talks behind others' backs. Amano and his friends turn in shock, recognizing her instantly. They murmur amongst themselves, "She is the same vocalist from the festival." Intrigued, Amano steps forward, his demeanor shifting as he suggests that she should join him instead. Before Hinamori can respond, Kurose emerges from a locker like a dramatic protagonist, only to awkwardly bump his head on the way out. His expression is unreadable as he addresses Amano, commenting on the strange coincidence of running into him here. Kurose mentions that they are leaving and begins to walk away. Amano's voice follows after them, dismissing Kurose entirely. He coldly states, "I've no business with you." Hinamori doesn't miss a beat. Without turning around, she throws the exact same words back at him before continuing forward. Amano remains frozen in place, his frustration evident as he watches them leave. Meanwhile, Kurose and Hinamori exit the school building, stepping into the fresh air outside. As they walk, Kurose warns her to stay away from Amano. His tone is serious, laced with concern. But before he can say anything more, Hinamori suddenly throws the borrowed shirt she had taken from him straight into his face like she is assaulting by flying fabric. The shirt lands on his face like it's making a surprise attack. Her expression is playful as she questions whether he is frustrated. Then, as if sensing the need to lighten the mood, she offers an idea. Perhaps they should go to the Marine Palace Aquarium the next day, surprising him. Hinamori sends a message, letting Kurose know that she has arrived. But Kurose isn't there yet. Instead, he stands before a penguin statue as if the statue holds the answers to life's greatest mysteries. For some reason, this is the first time he has willingly come to meet a girl. The thought lingers in his mind. Does this count as a date? But then, the memory of that slap flashes through his mind, and he quickly dismisses the idea. Nearby, a few boys noticed Hinamori. They whisper among themselves, admiring her cuteness. Just then, our lad notes that she looks different today, more charming than usual. The boys muster up the courage to approach her, asking if she would like to join them. Without hesitation, Hinamori reaches for Kurose's hand as she spots him, firmly declaring that she is on a date with him. The words catch Kurose completely off guard, his face heating up like a microwave burrito. The boys, realizing their mistake, quickly walk away. Kurose, still flustered, hesitates for a moment before attempting to clarify what she just said. But before he can finish his question, she interrupts him, asking if this is his first time at the aquarium. He confirms that it is. She nods, saying it is her first time too. She had decided to come after hearing her classmates talk about it. As they step inside, Hinamori's eyes immediately catch sight of the jellyfish exhibit. She finds them incredibly pretty and, with excitement, asks Kurose which one he likes. He silently gestures toward one, pointing at it. The creature he points to is an anglerfish, telling her that it looks like her. Hinamori gives him a long stare, as if reconsidering all her life choices. There is an information panel beside it, detailing its characteristics. Kurose, without a word, pulls out his phone and opens the memo pad, where he has noted a few things. He shows it to Hinamori and suggests that their unit should have a name. Hinamori considers the idea for a moment before advising him not to decide things on his own. She reminds him that she still hasn't signed for his songs yet. Kurose, however, is thinking about something else entirely when suddenly, Hinamori rushes toward him, shouting that everything is in the wrong order. Her voice is filled with frustration as she insists that he needs to write better songs first. She questions whether he is even thinking properly about all of this. Kurose, startled by her intensity, quickly responds with confidence, saying of course. But internally, he realizes that he had planned to sit down and write lyrics that evening. However, thanks to this arrogant queen, that plan has now been ruined. As they continue through the aquarium, they find themselves admiring different fish. The sight of marine life captivates them both, filling them with excitement. At one point, Hinamori spots a turtle swimming towards her. She beams with joy, claiming that the turtle just waved at her. Later, outside the restroom, Kurose stands idly, reflecting on the experience. He isn't sure if he has particularly enjoyed it, but it is clear that Hinamori has. He thinks about how different she is from the version of herself in class. At that moment, a little girl approaches him, crying because she has lost her father. Kurose, feeling slightly awkward, tells her to stop crying, but she refuses to listen. Meanwhile, a song reaches his ears from a distance. He pays attention and recognizes it. It is an anime theme song. An idea forms in his mind. He starts singing, hoping that the familiar tune will calm the child. However, the girl cries even louder, as if personally offended by his off-key attempt. Before he can react, Hinamori appears beside him. She corrects his lyrics and joins in, singing with perfect precision. The moment Kurose hears her voice, he is taken aback. This is no ordinary person singing. This is something special. The little girl, captivated by Hinamori's voice, stops crying and begins to join in, clapping along happily. Her tears disappear as joy takes their place. She explains that she had been sad because of her father, but thanks to Winnie-chan, she feels much better now. Hinamori kneels beside her, telling her that the real reason she feels better is because of music. Music has the power to make people smile. Seeing the girl calm down, he starts searching for her father. Eventually, they both set out to find him. A little while later, Hinamori returns and thanks Kurose for waiting. As they walk, their conversation drifts toward the anime theme song. Hinamori mentions that it has become quite famous and even collaborated with the aquarium. Kurose agrees, praising the song. He insists that it is no ordinary tune, it is about friendship, and its soundtrack is incredibly catchy. He also shares that his sister loves the song, and they used to watch the show together. Midway through his explanation, he pauses, realizing he has been talking too much. A sudden worry creeps into his mind. What if he sounds creepy? But before he can dwell on the thought, Hinamori's expression brightens. She excitedly tells him that she used to watch the same show. Curious, she asks him which song from the anime is his favorite. At the exact same moment, both of them say the same song title. For a second, they just stare at each other, as if realizing they might be long-lost anime protagonists. Kurose recalls a memory, explaining that the first time he heard that song was when his sister had been crying over a ruined origami. But when she listened to the song, her mood instantly lifted. He believes that the song carries an incredibly positive energy. Then, as if revealing a secret, he admits that one of his dreams is to write theme songs for anime. But right after saying it, he worries that Hinamori might laugh at him. Trying to play it off, he quickly adds, "Just kidding." However, Hinamori does not laugh. Instead, she praises his dream, telling him that she truly believes he will accomplish it one day. Before the moment can linger, Kurose abruptly changes the subject. He points towards a nearby restaurant and suggests that it is lunchtime, and they should head there. As they start walking, he realizes something. This is the first time he has shared so much about himself with someone else. Hinamori and Kurose sit inside a restaurant, having ordered curry udon. As the warm aroma of spices fills the air, Hinamori takes a bite and expresses her fondness for the dish. She tells Kurose that she likes a little stimulation in her food, and this spicy curry is a perfect example. Kurose, listening to her words, suddenly finds a connection between this and his own aspirations. He tells her that he wants to create music with her that has the same kind of effect, something that excites and stimulates the senses. But Hinamori looks at him, clearly not understanding what he means. He looks so serious that one might think he's solving a world crisis, not naming a music group. Instead, she suddenly comes up with a name, Sunagoto, a combination of their names. She asks what he thinks of it for their unit. The suggestion sends Kurose into deep thought, reflecting on what she had said earlier about music bringing joy to those feeling sad. The realization hits him. It's beautiful how music can connect with the world, reaching those who need it. His lips curve into a smile as he tells her that it's a different but nice choice. At that moment, he starts to feel that Hinamori has finally agreed to work with him. Perhaps she also wants to be heard by people all over the world. An announcement echoes through the restaurant, stating that the Penguin Show is about to begin at 2 o'clock. Hearing this, Hinamori quickly suggests they leave, feeling embarrassed to stay any longer. Without hesitation, they head towards the show. Inside the aquarium, Hinamori watches the penguins with fascination. She finds them incredibly cute and, in amusement, compares them to Kurose. Kurose squints at the penguins, debating whether to take this as an insult or a compliment. But Hinamori shakes her head, explaining that it's because penguins walk awkwardly on land but move gracefully in the water, just like how Kurose acts distant and reserved in class, but becomes energetic and full of life when talking about music. As they talk, Kurose is busy typing on his phone. For a moment, Hinamori wonders if he's secretly writing a grocery list instead of lyrics. But he casually tells her that he's taking notes to make writing lyrics easier. He then reads out some lines he has come up with while watching the penguins, mentioning that he jots down whatever comes to his mind so he can refine it later. Listening to him, Hinamori smiles and admits that she's happy to hear this. She points out that it seems like Kurose has found a lot of inspiration at the aquarium today. However, he narrows his eyes at her, as if she's a mastermind villain plotting his creative awakening. thinking that was this Hinamori's plan all along. Did she bring him here just to help him write lyrics? His curiosity gets the better of him, and he asks her outright. Before she can answer, an announcement blares through the speakers about the Penguin Show. Hinamori, turning to him, asks if he has enjoyed coming here. Hirose, thinking for a moment, gives a simple reply. It has been a good stimulus. After the show, they visit a souvenir store. Hinamori's eyes land on a penguin plushie, and she contemplates buying it. But before she can decide, Hirose makes an unexpected comparison. He likens her to an anglerfish. The remark instantly ruins her mood, but then he adds that the anglerfish glows even in the deepest ocean, just like how her voice brightens people's hearts. Hearing this, Hinamori's face flushes with heat, and she blushes hard. She steps closer to him and corrects his misunderstanding, explaining that the anglerfish doesn't glow on its own. It relies on bacteria to help it shine. Kurose listens, suddenly feeling betrayed by the fish he just bought. Without waiting for his response, she walks off to look at other items in the store. Meanwhile, Kurose picks out a few things to take home. His gaze lingers on an anglerfish toy, and after a brief hesitation, he decides to buy it as well. On the other side of the store, Hinamori finds herself lost in thought. Kurose often says the strangest things. As she recalls his words from earlier, she unconsciously hugs the penguin plushie. She glances out the window and spots the little girl they had met earlier at the aquarium. The child is with her father now, but she seems to be insisting on buying something. Then Hinamori sees her walk towards a street piano, a determined look on her face, as if she is about to play. Watching this unfold, an unexplainable emotion washes over Hinamori, leaving her feeling strangely overwhelmed. Meanwhile, Kurose finishes paying at the counter and turns around, only to realize that Hinamori is no longer beside him. Scanning the area, his eyes land on her, sitting on the ground, her shoulders trembling. As he steps closer, he realizes that she is crying. Hirose approaches Hinamori, concern evident on his face, and asks her what happened. He moves to call for an ambulance, but before he can, she gently takes hold of his hand. In a soft voice, she assures him that she is fine, that she will settle down on her own. She then asks for her smartphone, prompting Kurose to ask if she wants to listen to a song. He plays a light tune, and as the music begins, Hinamori rests her head on his shoulder, closing her eyes. Kurose freezes like a malfunctioning robot as she quietly requests him to let her stay like this for a little while longer. Meanwhile, inside the store, Hinamori's mother catches sight of her daughter. At the same moment, Hinamori's teacher unexpectedly arrives, informing her mother that today's lesson had been canceled. After exchanging a few words, the teacher leaves, but now Hinamori's mother, confused and growing angry, steps out of the store, wondering where exactly her daughter could have gone if not for her scheduled lesson. She prepares to track down her daughter like a detective solving a high-stakes mystery. Unaware of this, Kurose and Hinamori exit the store together. Hinamori still appears downcast, her mood noticeably heavy, but Kurose senses that something about the situation is off. He wants to know what is truly behind her current behavior. As they walk, Hinamori prepares to go home, and Kurose offers to escort her. As they continue, he curiously asks why every song in her playlist belongs to him. Hinamori hesitates at the question, seemingly caught off guard. This moment triggers a memory in Kurose's mind, and he recalls receiving a comment on his video the previous day. Hinamori, lost in her thoughts, recalls a moment from a year ago. On her YouTube channel, she had once seen a comment from Kurose where he had called her a goddess. That single comment had made her incredibly happy. In response, she had simply replied with a thank you. That moment had led her to check Kurose's profile, where she had discovered that he was a songwriter, the same age as her. She had always enjoyed his songs, but rather than commenting from her main IC account, she had chosen to use a different one. She had been so careful to keep her identity hidden, yet now she's practically starring in a dramatic reveal scene she never signed up for, continuing to use the same bird-faced account, consistently leaving a comment whenever Kurose released a new song. She reflects on how much she enjoys listening to his music, but admits to herself that she had never anticipated having to become a part of it herself. As they walk, night falls, and they finally reach Hinamori's house. The moment they arrive, Hirose spots Hinamori's mother standing outside, and an uneasy feeling washes over him. The tension escalates immediately as her mother starts shouting, demanding to know where she had been and why she skipped her lesson. Before Hinamori can explain, Kurose steps forward, nervously introducing himself as her classmate. However, this only fuels her mother's anger, and she directs her frustration toward him, exclaiming that she cannot believe he dragged her daughter around so late into the night. Kurosei briefly considers running for his life when Hinamori's mother glares at him like he's personally responsible for all her daughter's life choices. Hinamori quickly interjects, insisting that it wasn't Kurosei's fault and that she was the one who brought him along. But her mother, still fuming, snatches the shopping bag from Hinamori's hand and throws it aside, leading to a heated argument between the two. Her mother scolds her for wasting time on such trivial things. As the tension thickens, Kurosei silently picks up the fallen penguin plushie and hands it back to Hinamori. Then, with a determined expression, he speaks up, saying that her mother should have seen her daughter's performance, how the audience burst into smiles the moment she started singing, how her voice truly reached into people's hearts. But her mother remains unimpressed, dismissing his words as nonsense. To her, it was just a mere school festival performance, and she questions what Hinamori gained from it. Kurosei, undeterred, challenges her perspective, asking if she believes that something only matters when it reaches a certain level of success. Her mother doesn't hesitate in her response. She declares that her daughter will become a pianist, but only if she can gain at least 100,000 subscribers. If not, she is to stop wasting her time and stay away from Kurosei. Hearing this, Kurosei boldly accepts the 100,000 subscriber challenge, before realizing he has no idea how to actually do that. Her mother, unimpressed but firm, tells him that if he cannot achieve it within a month, he must stay away from her daughter. With that, she takes Hinamori inside, leaving Kurosei standing outside as Hinamori wonders if this challenge is even possible for him. Later that night, Kurosei sits in his room, immediately creating a new channel under the name they had chosen together, Sunagodo. Determined, he starts working on it. Meanwhile, in another room, Hinamori's mother sits at her laptop watching the recording of her daughter's performance at the festival, muttering to herself that this is absurd, yet somehow continues watching it. In her own room, Hinamori sits on her bed, tears streaming down her face as her mother's harsh words replay in her mind. She recalls being told not to associate too much with that cheeky boy and to focus solely on her piano. Frustrated, she pulls out her phone and quickly types out a message. She sends it to Kurosei, demanding to know why he said what he did. Because of him, her mother found out about her singing. Anger and regret overwhelm her as she curls up on her bed, blaming herself for letting her mother take out her frustration on Kurosei. Moments later, her phone vibrates with a reply. Kurosei admits that he was frustrated and blurted it out without thinking. He also tells her that he has finished writing the lyrics and wants her to hear them. The moment she opens his message, a song starts playing. As she listens, her thoughts drift back to the words Kurosei exchanged with her mother. An overwhelming mix of emotions takes over as she picks up a pair of scissors. Standing in front of the mirror, she makes a firm decision. If this is how things have to be, she will end it all, her old self, her old appearance. Without hesitation, she begins to cut her hair, wondering if she's having a main character transformation moment. The next day at school, Kurosei sits at his desk, flipping through his notebook, deep in thought. Tetsu approaches him, asking for a favor, but Kurosei instead asks how much time is left until the end of the month. When Tetsu tells him there are only 2 weeks left, Kurosei's anxiety spikes. How is he supposed to gain 100,000 subscribers in such a short time? Suddenly, whispers spread across the classroom as a girl enters. The students murmur among themselves, wondering who this mysterious person is. As Kurosei looks up, he is stunned. Hinamori has walked into the school with an entirely new appearance. Her real self, he wonders if he has entered an entirely different genre of story. The realization spreads quickly among the students. She is the girl from the festival, the one who captivated the audience. Kurosei can't believe what he's seeing. Why did she suddenly change her appearance? Before he can process it, she walks straight up to him and asks if she can come to his house after school. Her reason? She loved the song he sent her last night. Hearing this, Kurosei's face turns red, and he finds himself at a complete loss for words. Hinamori approaches Kurosei after class and asks if she can come to his house after school. Curious, Kurosei asks her why, and she explains that she wants to sing for him using her real voice. With determination in her eyes, she declares, "Let's try to find out how far we can go." The students nearby are left in shock, their mouths hanging open as they struggle to process the idea that the two of them might share such a close relationship. When Hinamori adds that she finds Kurosei amazing, the surrounding students react with even greater astonishment. Realizing the commotion, Kurose suggests that they talk somewhere private and leads her to the rooftop where they can be alone. Hinamori clarifies that she is serious about this, offering her thoughts on his lyrics and providing guidance. Kurose, in turn, tells her that her earlier words have led their classmates to misunderstand their relationship. As she reflects on what she said, she realizes how embarrassing her words sound. Frustrated, she demands to know what kind of imagination is running through his head. Shifting the focus back to their challenge, Hinamori acknowledges that gaining 100,000 subscribers is a difficult task, but they have no time to waste. Suddenly, Kurose calls her name and asks if she has really decided to sing for him, and when she confirms that she listened to the demo and loved it, praising his lyrics as really good, he blushes at the compliment. Just as he is processing her words, the school bell rings. Hinamori turns to leave, but as she does, Kurose instinctively extends his hand and asks about her piano lessons. She turns back and tells him that she has decided to take a break. As she moves again, Kurose's outstretched hand accidentally lands on her chest, creating an awkward moment. Stammering, he tries to excuse himself, claiming he did not expect her to turn around so suddenly. Without hesitation, she delivers a powerful slap across his face. The slap is so strong that Kurose briefly wonders if he has been transported to another world. Back in the classroom, the boys in the class talk about how cute Hinamori is. One of them places a juice box on her desk, offering it to her if she does not mind, and soon other boys follow suit, leaving her desk piled with juice boxes. Hinamori looks at the growing mountain of juice boxes and considers opening a convenience store. Watching this unfold, Kurose wonders how their classmates' opinions have changed so suddenly. He tells Hinamori that if she finds their gestures bothersome, she can refuse them. However, without hesitation, she stacks the juice boxes and warns them not to cross the line. Their class then begins, and when the teacher asks Kurose to read, he realizes his book is missing because Tetsu took it earlier. As he glances at Hinamori, she swiftly hands him her book, directing him to start from the third line. Impressed by her pronunciation, he silently decides to thank her later. When he does thank her, she tells him to come closer so she can show him her notebook. As Kurose drinks the juice one by one, he declares, "If Icy is going to get serious, then I have to get serious too." Hinamori, however, questions him, demanding to know when exactly he plans to get serious. Kurose drinks so much juice that he starts questioning if he has turned into a juice box himself. After school, Kurose takes Hinamori to his house. Upon arrival, she introduces herself to his mother and sister, and both are thrilled, celebrating like he just won the dating lottery. Ignoring their assumptions, the two head to his room and begin their recording session. Taking a deep breath, Hinamori starts singing, and Kurose listens in amazement, realizing that Icy's voice sounds exactly like how he imagined it would. Her singing is beyond his expectations. He comments that it was a single take, but Hinamori insists on doing another, explaining that she wants to record multiple takes so they can choose the best one. She continues singing multiple times, perfecting each take, until Kurose finally asks her to stop. They sit down and discuss the recording process. Hinamori confesses that she does not normally record because she is afraid of her mother finding out. The only time she gets the opportunity is when her mother is out or in the bath. Today is the first time she has been able to record without fear, yet something still feels off. She explains that the song tells a journey of bravery, of someone emerging from the depths of a deep sea, but she has never had such an experience. She worries that without that real feeling, they will not be able to reach 100,000 subscribers. Kurose tells her not to overthink things, reassuring her that what she has done so far is amazing. He then suggests she sing in a slightly more erotic way. Hinamori immediately becomes flustered, demanding to know if he is having strange imaginations. He clarifies that he is talking about using a whispering technique, which she finds intriguing since she has never tried it before. Following his guidance, she adjusts her singing style and notices her voice becoming softer. She also realizes that her hands are no longer shaking. At Kurose's encouragement, she begins singing again, feeling safe in the knowledge that as long as he is there, everything will be fine. As she matches her voice to the music, she reflects on her past. When she was young, she practiced piano daily but was forbidden from making friends because it would affect her grades. When she came second in her class, she was blamed for it. As a result, she avoided friendships, afraid of being the cause of someone's embarrassment. She started singing as an escape when she decided to take a break from piano, convincing herself that it was just a temporary distraction. She lied to others and distanced herself, but now she realizes that every time she is with Kurose, miracles seem to happen. She feels a deep connection to the lyrics as she sings, and Kurose is mesmerized. Icy's real voice is even more incredible than he imagined. Noticing her improvement, he listens in awe. When she finishes, she whispers that it worked because she was thinking about something else. Excited, Kurose starts editing, convinced this will be a masterpiece. He tells her he's already set up a channel under their chosen name and will take care of the rest. As he turns, he accidentally bumps into her, making her stumble. Panicking, he fears his hand will land somewhere inappropriate again. But Hinamori reacts instantly, blocking with her bag so fast that Kurose wonders if she has superpowers. He falls to the side instead. Her bag hits the ground, spilling its contents, including an adult magazine, a prank from Tetsu. Kurose's soul leaves his body as he scrambles to explain, but Hinamori smirks and whispers, "Naughty pervert." Then, with a teasing grin, she asks if he likes polka dots. He frantically clarifies it's a misunderstanding, but she just laughs. Switching topics, she asks about their next steps. Kurose plans to upload the recording today, but she questions the visuals. He suggests using pictures and text, but Hinamori insists they need a special illustration from an artist to make an impact.